Well, the best times are RLCS times. We find ourselves an Apac. Yo, boy, Q, Wolfie, Tua in the booth here tonight. Q, we have some amazing action here to come today. The Godspeed boys trying to make it to main event once again, but a tough group overall. How is your night going?
Feeling good, feeling good. It's early morning, just to getting my day started. But yeah, you mentioned a tough group here, but I think that should lead to a lot of good Rocket League. And I always feel like, group stages, or sorry, when you're preparing for group stages in Swiss, might as well test your metal early. You know what I mean?
Yes, and this is kind of where the proving ground early on. You want to see what potentially you see into next week, but what matters is game number one. You have to really come out, try to get some confidence. But, for Godspeed, first time they saw themselves in an open Quals, 3-0 throughout the day, saw themselves have a quick one. They said, guys, let's slot ourselves into make it main event. Let's not worry about the noise. But, with such competition, especially Project De La Cruz into this group, what's really the mindset for you, Q, if you were in those shoes of the boys here tonight?
Just control what you can control. I was talking with our producer earlier, and I was thinking we should avoid them. I realized I was wrong on that. I was thinking we're the 3 seed in our group or the 4 seed in our group, which does mean good chances that we are going to cross their paths. But hey, you know what? Again, this is Swiss. The good news is you just got to win 3 series before you got to lose 3 series with the new the Swiss system. Or the game differential doesn't matter as much, so just use that as a game to really make sure you're trying to prepare yourself for next week. I mean, I think you should be able to win 3 before you lose 3 today, so just make sure you control the rounds that you can control.
And this is a tough group. You look at the top 4 in this group: Project Killer Cruz.
Yeah.
Of course, they're the number 1 seed. Ground Zero coming in with Risk, Name Valid. Those are 3 players that can pop off at any time. And the boys over there, Overlooked Entertainment, Taha Lunatic, and J-Box, who we did end up seeing in the last Open. We were able to get that win here. But still, you get a win last week does not equate to this week. It's where you're saying,
Right.
if you play for everybody, you still have to come in and say, we got to go onto the pitch. We got to find a way to get going early. But, for Godspeed, Fincy, Rigorous, and Echo, they're looking to get themselves a kind of a similar performance. But this is what I'm saying. Hey, take it one series at a time. Take it one game at a time. Take it a goal at a time.
Yeah, I think especially get the you get things started off with fellas. It's probably the one series that going into the day you should feel confident about. After that, though, as long as you either keep winning or keep things competitive, it's going to be tougher matchups throughout the day. So I don't want to say use this as a warm-up series, because I feel like that's a little disrespectful. I think the big thing is you come out, though, and you make sure that anything that does need to kind of get smoothened down around the edges, you do that over the course of the next 3 to 5 games.
And, game number 1, this is where, like you mentioned, you're just kind of getting your footing into it. You want to allow yourself to get into the pace of play, start ramping things up. This is something this team didn't have a chance last week. Got a forfeit in main event in game number 1. Then all of a sudden, they had to go from 0 all the way to 100. And that's tough for anybody. So this is where they can come in. And one thing I'm looking for this team is the passing plays. I'm not too sure if you had a chance to really see this team in action the last couple of weeks, but they love to get everybody involved, and especially in the RLCS setting, that right there allows yourself to go from a competitive to one of the most dangerous teams potentially can go up against.
Yeah, I would actually say that's a lot of what helps take those teams from that sort of tier just before kind of competing for those top spots to actually competing for those top spots, because it's not just about the individual skills, but when you are able to get the ball moving, man, it is easier to force those mistakes from the opposition. So we'll definitely be looking for the boys from Godspeed to be able to do just that here today. But ain't no more time to talk about it. It is indeed time to be about it. Let's go and get down and do what it do with game 1 here.
Well, 5 minutes here in this best of 5. Rigorous going to see if he can get things done early. But we talk about the passing plays. Those two, him and Echo, saw themselves matching up, continue to find ways to be dangerous together. But Rigorous trying to see himself open things up here quickly. We'll just pass this one down. A 1-2 punch. Will they be able to get the third involved? Fincy just waiting in the wings.
I like the idea. You don't want to push too far forward. Here's a chance, though, off of the second opportunity. Rigorous' shot, bottom left-hand corner, finds its mark. It was pressure from the word go. First one to find themselves on the board will be Godspeed.
Oh, you see his tag. It says All-Star, and he showed it out for a player that saw himself with the new squad last qualifier and last main event. He stood out in droves. But no, this is where you're saying, I've seen myself have an extra week with this team. I know what we like to get going. As a quick little fake there almost leads to a second goal. Rigorous just going to try to push this one back to continue on the pressure for Godspeed. But a demo going to loosen things up as fellas trying to see themselves make some danger on this side of the half.
Trying to see what sort of pressure they can build up in their own right. See if they can find themselves a quick equalizer instead of a transition the opposite way. A sends it towards the corner. Will at least slow things down on the first look, but it's Finzi off the sidewall. Underneath one, was looking for a potential bump on a mild pork, but just couldn't quite make the contact. Rigorous, though, still keeps the pressure forward. Again, just as far as for this defense from Bellas, they're doing a great job of keeping the pressure towards the outside of the field.
A little cheeky bump there. This is where you have to really disrupt that pacing right now. And for teams that are still trying to get going early, this is where you try to put some big goals, get them out of rhythm quickly. As Mild Pork trying to see if he can spice things up here. This will allow for a quick shot. The crossbar will be able to ward it away.
The MVP, most valuable post, coming in and playing some defense here early. We're not even 2 minutes into things, and still just the 1-goal ball game for now, Wolfie, as it's Rigorous going up towards the corner, looking to gather it from there. A doing a great job on the defensive side, I must say, here for fellas helping lead the way as far as helping turning defense into offense. Hold on, open field, Rigorous. Is that just in? That's just in as Godspeed now goes up by 2.
Make it look easy on the toughest of stages here. And nice little touch there. Sup, unfortunately, was looking to at least get a fender on the car. Won't get a bumper, but this is where Godspeed, you're up 2-0 now. Not even half time. Continue on the offensive prowess. Rigorous trying to see if he can get himself a clip to go through, but this one will just be shy of a net as Fincy continue to put things on.
Loving to see more pressure here, though, as it's the second and third effort. Rigorous, I think that's a triple touch off the backboard. Still looking to try and find someone in the middle. Just couldn't quite dial it in, but still pressure down on the blue side. Rigorous picks it up. A's the last one to beat. A gets the beat on it, though. Drops it off for Sup, but the problem for fellas, which they've already seen through the first half of play, is it's the struggle to find the clear. Even when they get it past the midfield line, it's a touch, maybe two, and then it's Godspeed back on the attack. It's Echo in the corner, looking to try and pick it back up. The pass to Fincy, who just can't quite get it past A.
And Rigorous is being so dangerous, doing a great job of picking up the second, third touches. Fincy almost saw himself with his first goal here tonight. But the Godspeed boys are going at Godspeed. A quick 3-0 so far with under 2 minutes to go here.
Looking really, really good. That shot from Echo, I mean, sniper finds its mark just under the top bar. 3 goals in the opening 3 minutes of play. We talked about really looking to set the tone here in game number 1. How about they add a 4th as they continue to run it up?
A tone set, and this team right now, you know, this is the type of game you wanted to start off with. You said it in the round 1 when you have basically the seeding advantage. Don't try to play at the level of the competition. Go out there and play your game. And Godspeed, they're doing just that here. The opening start. I'm liking the pacing. I'm liking where their head's at. Let's see if they can continue doing this in this series.
And the big thing for me is they're doing a great job of meeting with that pressure around the midfield line. I mean, fellas really struggling to get anything set up on the offensive side. The other side of that, of course, is, well, a good offense makes a phenomenal defense. They've just kept so much pressure down in the blue half. There's just nothing for them to really get any sort of semblance of offense going. They're still looking for their first goal, and they're sitting relatively low on that shot counter here as well.
Well, and this is where this team's looking for 1 goal. You know, you want to take the goose egg off. You want to allow yourself to say, hey, we got the 0 off the board. We got 1. We're in this qualifier now, boys. But, you know, for Godspeed, 69 seconds remaining here in game number 1 to try to pitch a shutout here early on. Sup, just putting it right back there for Fincy. Going to just give up possession there as Godspeed just trying to see if they can run out the last 60 seconds.
Oh, maybe even add another, and Fincy does just that. Make it 5 on the scoreboard in game number 1 as everyone's getting involved, and man, the give and go just looks so good. The lightest of touches from Fincy to make the adjustment. And fellas still just left scratching their head, wondering how they can stop this offense.
You know, Fincy when you looked at the stats before open 2, he saw himself on the lower end of the shot total, but he stepped things up last week. I feel once he really got going, saw himself with so many important goals, but one person that's really standing out right now is Rigorous. His pace right now is just so quick. It seems to just be thinning out fellas at every which end.
Yeah, they just don't really seem to be comfortable playing at that pace for sure. And part of that has been kind of seen as far as them struggling to get out of their back half. It's pressure from the word go, and it feels like they're just not used to being able to use one another to be able to move up the field. A lot of individual plays. Here's a passing play that does put some pressure towards the net, but eventually gets sent aside. Final 3 seconds as the clock dwindles away. And while it has been official for a while, we've been wondering if the clean sheet was going to be kept. And Eco even going to add a 6th as our final score is 6-0.
Well, this is what he does. He scores goals and tough angles, not tough enough. Crossbar down, Godspeed. One more for the road. Go up 1-0 in this series. That is how you want to start off a day.
Can't ask for much more, right? I mean, you just come out and you absolutely barrage the net. 13 shots, but even better than that is the efficiency, 6 of which are able to find the lace. You're able to restrict your opposition to only 3 shots as well. You keep the clean sheet. Yeah, I mean, really, you can't ask for much more.
Well, in this team right now, they're looking good, but game number 2, this is where the how well do you adapt? Fellows is going to come out here, see what the game plan was, and one thing that everybody saw in opens and during main event was the demos. That was something Godspeed saw themselves having a bit of trouble being able to counter, but that's where the pace of play comes. If they can't even get where we're at, we're fine, boys. They don't need to touch us. We're just going to continue getting great touches and putting balls behind nets.
I think right now you just continue doing what you got to do. I mean, they were able to come out and basically just grab the bull by the horns, and there was just no relinquishing the control. I would love to see them just continue to keep the pedal down. I feel like sometimes you'll see teams where you dominate game 1, you take a lead in game 2, and then you start playing not to lose. I think it's important. We mentioned we're in the tougher group of the 2. It does feel like when you look at how everything lines up, there's no letting the foot up off of the gas. You build that momentum the best that you can here in round number 1. If 6-0 is only the start of it, let's run it up, baby.
Yeah, keep running it up. Goals come at a premium here in the RLCS setting, so if you have a chance to be able to score, you do it at any which way. Rigorous saying, we hear you, Wolfie, early on. No, it will not, but Godspeed from the opening jump going right back to it.
Love to see it going right back to that fast pace. We were talking about how uncomfortable it seemed like Fellas was playing at that level. Here's Rigorous, going to be able to find the clear, looking to try and chase down that mid pad. Not going to be able to find it, but quickly able to take the one away from the Fellas corner to pass the Eco. It will require the double commit, however, which will allow for Godspeed to keep the possession. Pass across, Eco, pass to Rigorous. Everyone's getting involved. Eco off of the rebound, and Godspeed will be the first to strike here in game number 2.
Look at it, 1, 2, 3. Everybody get involved, and Godspeed right now. This team says coming out and dominating early on. They're saying, hey, we're not here to compete. We're here to dominate. We're trying to get to that next level, and you come out. You're putting on so much pressure right now, fellas. Just trying to survive out there.
Just trying to find something that starts their offense, because it has been 7 unanswered goals here from Godspeed over the course of the past 6 minutes to start this series. A looks for the outlet pass out to Mild Pork, right back to A, who takes it to the sky. Finzi, great job meeting with that resistance, knocks it away, and well, now it's going to be Rigorous looking to get out of their zone. Pops it up. Finzi, first one to the ball. That's towards the net. Sup, not going to be able to get to it. And it's now 2-0.
Making it look easy. Another assist coming for the man they call Rigorous. And this is the reason he led the assist totals last week. Has done a great job of finding teammates, giving them great looks. More importantly, just being able to simplify the game. Those are the type of goals, if you can just find one, go cross field, you're looking at such a great offense, and you said it. They've been efficient. They've done well in being able to limit their opportunities, but be able to come up with those opportunities.
Rigorous taking to the sky over A. Can you finish this down with a dunk? It requires the save from Sup. Mild Pork has no gas left in it. A pays the price. They will find the save. Sup looks to put it on the top of the car, looks for the flick, double commit, but it finds the save. Eco able to pick up the rebound and go the opposite way with it, relieves the pressure, as it will be bouncing high in the sky. Mild Pork will at least be able to find it towards the midfield line. A looking to find the clear off of the back of that one. Does it leave a chance? Eco looks to fire it forward, just can't quite find its mark.
Well, and that's one of those last goals here, Fellas was hoping to grab. Was one of their best shots, top bins, but we'll just see Godspeed continuing to be able to get good touches. But this one right back onto their half will not get too dangerous. But Fellas continue to try to drive the hammer home. Will they see it? Godspeed once again being able to get out of danger, but still trying to see themselves off their half.
Has been one of the longer possessions we've seen from Fellas over a game and a half, and then as soon as it breaks, quickly turning defense into offense. Not sure if this was intended. Sometimes better to be lucky than good, or sometimes I guess you just make your own luck, I suppose. But Godspeed either way, up by 3.
Up by 3, and that's just when when things are going well, everything goes right. And for Godspeed, we said easy goals for them so far. It's been a lot of cross-pitch goals here. They've done a good job of just being able to utilize the space, see how well they're pushing up in front. It is going to be a second, third one. Potentially Rigorous says yes.
They just have a way of flipping the script so quick. I mean, Rigorous quickly jets towards the midfield line, trusting the teammates to be able to find a way to put the ball on its mark. From there, the biscuits in front of the basket, you just simply got to put it in. It's going to be good eats each and every time. Here's Eco off with a draw, looking to send it towards the net. Rigorous playing in between 3. The back pass towards Finzi, while it can't quite find its mark, it still ends up under the hood of a Godspeed player. Eco makes the magic happen, and it's now 5-0.
Yeah, this team right now, 5-0. With still 2 minutes to go. We said how well Fellas going to be able to adapt. Well, it just seemed Godspeed. They saw what they can continue being able to pick and prod against this defense, and they're trying to just shatter the mold. And, they're doing a heck of a job of doing it. Comfortable position. But this is where you're saying, I know we're up. Do not take your foot off the gas like you mentioned. Do not give Fellas an inch where they start gaining some confidence or even any momentum here.
It's one about building up your momentum, and 2, very much like you talked about, not letting Fellas build up anything here. If you allow them to score 2 or 3 goals, yeah, they still walk away with an L, but they go into game number 3 with some semblance of confidence going, hey, we started to figure it out. That's the last thing you want. 1 goal, that's one thing. I mean, everyone finds the back of the net every once in a while, right? I mean, it's been 8.5 minutes. At some point, you would hope to find one. The important thing for Godspeed is you don't let that one turn into multiple.
And this is where Godspeed now. You left the first goal. Fellas on the board for the first time in this series. They're looking to continue that type of prowess. But, this is where they're saying, hey, we finally got something positive here. We went 11 unanswered. And now we see ourselves on the board. Has to feel good. Has to feel like a second one is coming. Sup? What's up? Another goal, that is.
Do gotta say, though, this kind of starts off of Godspeed playing as aggressive as they have all game, and I'm not going to complain about it, right? Every once in a while, one's going to leak and squeak its way out into your backside, especially when you don't have anybody back there to be able to field it. I think now is when you got to make sure that you take that third back and, well, maybe place them back just another meter or 2. You don't have to necessarily relieve the pressure off of the front of the pitch, right? You just got to make sure you can play yourself in the right position. 50 seconds left. Let's make it sure it's only those 2. No, Fellas says, let's make it 3. And now all of a second, Sun with 47 seconds, a 2-goal deficit doesn't sound insurmountable.
Yeah, now you're saying, lock in. We said it here. Another goal, and potentially we're at a 1-goal game. This game has just flipped on its head. Godspeed can potentially saying, we got ourselves into a rhythm where we're just trying to continue scoring goals, but 3 goals quickly. Fellas, they're right back in this. This can go any way if we see one more coming through. That one slightly off. The 1-2 punch here. Will they find Eco? No, they will not. As the final 30 seconds upon us, Godspeed now trying to see all the zeros hit the board with themselves in the lead.
The good news is you got yourself the 2 goals. Every clear from here, even if it's just 5-7 seconds off the clock, relieves just more of that pressure. Just starts with one more stop. Finzi will be able to find the save here, and it's going to be a pinch up the sidewall, which will find it deep inside the blue half. And even if Mild Pork were able to carry it the distance, well, there would be zeros on the clock. No additional goal for the road, however. Fellas will make sure to be able to deny that, and Fellas will at least feel some sort of confidence going into game number 3 with the fact that they're going into it off of the back of 3 unanswered goals for them. But I mean, Godspeed still one game away from advancing into that 1-0 side of the bracket.
Well, and this is where, maybe they got into a free play mindset where they're saying, hey, let's try different things out. Let's try attacking our offense in a live setting under the bright lights where it doesn't hurt us as much. But fellas, they finally got to say, boys, take a breather. We're on the board now for Rlcs. Now we can just try to see ourselves continue this one on. And, Godspeed now. Finish it here. Don't let the series go any farther.
Yeah, I think the big thing for Godspeed is you just come out and just continue to play your game. It felt like there for those, what was that, minute and a half, 2 minutes, where we did start to see the turnaround. It just some simple mistakes. Mistakes happen, but let's get those past us here. We've had those for our series now in game number 2. You mentioned the big thing here is you got to make sure that you can seal the deal. There's going to be a point here later on in the night where you're going to have to do this against a better team. So you have to be able to do it against a team like Fellas. It almost looked like we were going to have our quickest goal off of the kickoff there. Finzi still looking to keep the pressure forward for Godspeed. Eco will be able to pop it up and we'll look to go right back onto the attack. Not enough boost to get to that one, however, as it will at least sink a little bit deeper into the Godspeed side. And all of a sudden, it does feel like this Fellas offense has started to come alive again here.
Well, the best case scenario for themselves, and I think the one they're looking for, is score first. Put yourself in the lead just to have a foothold in this match. If it goes to a point where now you're down one, as a quick shot there for Rigorous, trying to give it back to a teammate, puts it right in for A. They take advantage of a mistake. As this one, we said they need the first one. He said, we're listening, Wolfie. We got it.
It's crazy to think how that play starts, which was just before that replay. A's actually bumping a defender, then hits a quick 180 on the opposite side of the box, rises up and finds the shot. I think it's important here that Godspeed find themselves a relatively quick response. Yeah, we know the boys have the ability to add some goals in a hurry, but the big thing is you don't let that big scary word of momentum build up anymore on that fella's side. It's 4 unanswered now, and it is only 1-0 here in game number 3, but you don't want this one to get out of hand before it gets started.
Well, Finzi trying to listen on. Potential goal in the midst. Mild Pork won't see too much of a touch. The back pass here to Finzi. Back down.
Way.
Yes, they can.
Goodness.
Yes, they will.
Oh, my goodness. It's the give and the go. Rigorous in a beautiful spot up on that backboard. Jumps right on off. Puts a Dimerson of a pass. We asked for a response, and they gave us one.
Well, they said, hey, here's one for the social feed. That's going to go all over the Twitter. And, for Godspeed, do it in style. Do it through. And Eco says, echo my name out here. I'm taking the lead.
Well, just as quick as fellas saw themselves take the lead, not only did it disappear, but they're now playing from behind once more. Talk about taking the air out of the room. And now for Godspeed, it's just about simply holding the line. 3.5 minutes is a lot of time to play in Rocket League, however, and Sup looking to try and find one here. It ends up getting sent to the sidewall by Mild Pork. Not exactly sure what the idea was, but now Rigorous trying to go coast to coast.
As we're getting better with the boost efficiency, they're starting to lead that category. And the man who just saw a goal gets a second one off a beautiful pass here. Godspeed turning around for a quick 2-goal lead with 3:13 remaining.
All right, decent pass. I'll even give it a good pass, but that was precision on the shot to find the window to sink that in the back of the lace. And now going to find themselves up by 2. And again, when you think about just about 30 seconds ago, we said how fellas, well, are able to find themselves a lead. They've been able to take that and use that as motivation here. 3 quick goals, back on the attack once more. Is that off Sup? Oh no, not like this.
No, No, not at all. That's one where you try to do anything you can. Unfortunately for him, an own goal will be the result of it. Godspeed. If you turn the channel off after the first goal and you tune back in, yes, 4-1 lead here for the Godspeed Wolves as a back pass trying to continue on the offensive prowess. But, Q, what a way for them to lock back in. Even when they saw themselves down, they just said, hey, we're not down because we're bad. We're down because we're letting them.
It's kind of dirty. You can't truly break someone's soul unless you give them a false sense of hope, I suppose. They've been able to just quickly get back to their winning ways here. You mentioned blink, you miss it. 4 goals, and they've got all of the control here for now. Now, it is 2:15 left to play. Time for 3, sure, but fellas would need to lock in immediately.
Yeah, this is where fellas now, they potentially see their upper bracket run, which is at least a start of a 1-0, starting to come into question if they get there. They knew it was going to be a tough matchup, especially against the 4 seed in this group. But it's one where they're saying, hey, there's levels to this right now. And we kept it close in moments. But, in Game 3, I still feel it was their best start to things. Unfortunately for them, Godspeed was just getting going.
Question is, how much further can they push the needle from here? We mentioned this was the series that they should feel confident going into. The question will become, well, where does the matchup put us here from now? Because, well, we're going up into that 1-0 side of the bracket. There's only going to be a handful of teams up there. And we had mentioned sitting in that 4 spot could lead us with a dangerous matchup here early. I do like how the squad is looking. I think the big thing for Godspeed is if you get one of those tougher draws, you still come out and try and play with the same pace. You don't come out and show the respect of allowing the opposite team to set the tone.
And another great thing of being able to play great teams in Quals is that you got to see them before main event. You get one of those live scrims almost in a game that actually matters here. We always talk about scrim results. We always talk about, well, what can they do? And Echo once again doing what he does best, and that's score the ball.
Now 5-1. I mean, really, what more can you ask for? And I think the big thing you and I were wondering going into this series was how much could they get the team play going? And it just feels like every goal darn near has had an assist. And it's always not so much looking for a goal for themselves, but just looking for a goal in general, which has allowed for them to have so many great opportunities.
And, those opportunities come from a team who's starting to get all those reps in. And you could see all the time they've been putting in so far and being able to know where they like to be at, who is going to be playing where. But for 30 seconds remaining, Godspeed playing to go up 1-0 to start things off. A goal potentially there for fellas gets warded away as the Wolves here for Godspeed trying to howl off. Can A get one more for the road as the final 10 seconds upon us?
I mean, what is that? 16 goals in the opening 3 games of play, right? 6-5-5. I mean, looking pretty darn good here. The defense only allowing a handful in response as the ball does officially touch down, and we'll bust out the brooms here, baby, for round number 1.
Janitorial staff coming in early here tonight, and the sweep is exactly how you want to get things going. 4 goals in total. That's what this defense allowed. That's 16-4. I say the math is on our side here for Godspeed here on the team stream, but so much around this. Any predictions on potentially who we see there in series number 2?
Well, I'm trying to think, right? If you've got 8 teams that go up into the 1-0 side of the bracket, more than likely we'll find ourselves, I think that's where we see ourselves against the 5 seed, right? So more likely good chance of Kineko Soup, who did win their series, it does look like, also in sweeping fashion. So 2 teams coming in off a bit of a hot streak, but I feel like for Godspeed, as long as you're staying away from those top couple of teams, you should feel confident. Even those top couple of teams, I think you showed yourself last week that you can go toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah, Kineko Soup is a team that they did play as well already and were able to get the 3-0 again. So, when you look at past predictions, you can see that and say, hey, we come in here favored. But, once you step onto the pitch, all bets are off. Anything can happen, but things are going well here. Godspeed see themselves. The only downside here, Q, is that we have to wait for the rest of the series to end.
Yeah, we'll have to see how long it takes for everyone else. It looks like they've got quite a few 3-0s starting to trickle their way on across. Of course, we'll try and get back to you guys as quick as possible, get back out to the pitch as we hope to see Godspeed make it as quick of a day as possible. When we get back, though, we'll be over to the 1-0 side of the bracket. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back after this.
Well, hope you're hungry. Kinnickle Soup on deck versus Godspeed. Yo boy Q, Wolfie 2 out here in the booth. And, yo boy Q, this is the team we saw last time. But Godspeed, they did a great job on their first series, got through their 3-0, a 16-4 differential. Talking about scoring, that's how you want to do it. But that's in the past now. All that matters is who is in front of you.
All that matters is who's in front of you, and you got to take it one series at a time, because generally speaking, as the day goes along in Swiss, well, the competition should get a little bit more stiff. So we should expect that to be a little bit more of the case here. I mean, Kinnickle Soup is one of those teams who is, you mentioned, has shown some decent performances outside of matchups versus Godspeed. I do feel like we should be able to come in with confidence, but it's not going to be the, I don't think we're going to be given the same space that we had seen in that first matchup of the day. We're going to have to earn it a little bit more here.
100%. And I think for their Godspeed, this is what they're wanting. They want to continue going up the ladder. They understand what the competition looks like. And more importantly, you don't want to get upsetted by a team that you already beat. And I think for Kinnickle Soup, it's that extra bit of fuel saying, hey, you guys got us last time. We're going to get you this time and try to see if we can bounce you down to lowers the same way you did us.
See just how quickly they can take care of business here. They're definitely going to have their eyes set on trying to get that bit of redemption. Whereas for the boys from Godspeed, it's a trip to that 2-0 side of the bracket, which would mean you're just one round away from securing yourself a spot in the group stages. It's time to get down to it. It's game number 1, Wolfie. Let's go.
Well, no time, no waste, and these two teams trying to see if the offense can get themselves going in quickly. And I think for Kinnickle Soup, the goal is here. Score first, allow yourself to see that first goal. But we'll see how the defense for Godspeed gets tested here. Not too much to show for themselves last time in terms of the opposition goal department, but this is where the attack coming quick here for Kinnickle Soup.
It does look like they're trying to be the ones that are trying to really make sure they can set the tone and set the pace here in game number 1. And that first series of the day, it was Godspeed who was spending all sorts of time down the opposition's half of the pitch. Well, we're 40 seconds into game number 1 here in our second round, and Kinnickle Soup has had all of the possession. It does feel like any time Godspeed's been able to find a clear, well, that's about all they've been able to find. Of course, this is that feeling out period, that early 60 to 90 seconds in game number 1. Maybe it's just about time. And there it is, the pass to the middle. Eco has the biscuit in front of the basket. It's going to be good. Eats each and every time. And Godspeed has the first goal of the game.
Well, let's see if you get to find a way to sneak in a goal here. And I think that one, as sneaky as you can get, unfortunately for the third man, just was not able to get a touch. Just out of the vicinity. Godspeed, they pounce on quickly in the first 60. But, this is where Kinnickle Soup can see if they can retaliate.
How quickly they can find a returning mark here. Or can Godspeed continue to pile it on? They showed the ability to add multiple goals quick, fast, and in a hurry in that first series. Let's see if they can duplicate that here. It's a quick transition up the opposite way. It's 2-on-1. Ding! Off of the crossbar, though, and the fourth defender helps Godspeed just a little bit there.
I think the crossbar this week is coming into our favor a bit. If you were watching the last couple weeks here, that was the best defender for all Godspeed was. They saw so many goals come off the post, and this time they're seeing it for the opposition. Has to feel good, but Godspeed trying to feel even better with a second goal. Small bumpage there from a teammate can allow for some chaos, but trying to see if they can remedy that.
Godspeed does feel like they've taken the control of the pace a little bit here over the course of the last 30 seconds or so. After that goal, they've been able to have some longer possessions, but Kinnickle Soup still looking for the equalizer here. Eco's got a full gas tank to work with, trying to quickly flip the pitch. It's a pass up towards Rigorous, but Eco does a great job of jumping the passing lane. Finzi looks to send one from a deep angle, but it will require the save. Eco in the corner looking for a pass, has Rigorous in the shadows here. Will turn around back to the defensive side, meets with resistance right around that midfield line, and well, all of a sudden it's Kinnickle Soup on the attack.
I was just surprised there. Rigorous just seemed that he had eyes in the back of his head, was able to see that bump or potentially demo coming through, survived it, and that's what allowed things to stall off here in the midfield. Good job here as we see ourselves past halftime here in game number 1. Godspeed with a lead, but not too much of one. Fincy trying to change that, still has some boost, will get a shot on net, leaves it for a teammate, but all orange around that one.
So the possession here, Eco's with the shot, and Oh, that one's just a tad bit high. I like the look, and all of a sudden it's 2v1 the opposite way. Eco able to stick a nose, and there's off to Rigorous. Bang! Just like that. Godspeed on a mission in transition, and that's now 2-0.
Well, you said off the nose, but Rigorous has a nose for the ball. Just seems to always be in the right place. And yes, sir, growl at them. Show them what you're made out of. 151, Godspeed to a quick 2-0 lead. Have some cushion, but I feel still not out of the woodworks.
I wonder if 2 is going to be enough against this Kineko Soup squad. They've been able to keep them at the goose egg for now. The question is, can you hold it for another 100 seconds? Can you start with a clean sheet? Eco looks to fire a pass to the middle. Rigorous right there. Can't quite find a way past the final defender, but it's still high in the sky for Finzi. Gathers it under 1, but Levenel will be picking it up and tries to exit out of the defensive zone. Finzi off of the sidewall. Pass over towards Rigorous. The defense for Kineko Soup refuses to budge.
Yeah, and that's just one where you don't have any boost behind you. And Godspeed finds a third one, and that's just a bit of an unfortunate one for the defense. Got a touch on it, but Godspeed have been gifted 2 own goals here so far in this entire open.
The big thing here, the end of game number 1, is you don't gift one back. You have been given a 3-goal lead. That extra goal is a little extra salt in the wounds here for Kineko Soup. Just got to make sure that they don't earn that one back here. 60 seconds left to play, and whereas we had started this game talking about how Kineko Soup had all sorts of pressure, since that first 60 to 90 seconds has ticked away, it has felt like Godspeed has done a phenomenal job of locking in and spending a majority of time on this orange half.
And this is where I think Kineko Soup, they were the aggressor like you mentioned, and I felt that they were comfortable in that role, but now they're on their back heels. Godspeed with a massive lead. They're looking just for one. We said in that last series, see yourself on the board, see yourself get things going. That could really change things off. We saw it in that game number 2 where 3 goals for the opposition started coming through. But can they get one here in game number 1? Eco will just take this himself. Going to have to battle a 50 as this one will be just on the Godspeed half. Quick back onto Kineko Soup. But for Godspeed, just trying to run the clock out.
One last opportunity. See if they can pick themselves up one. Eco will find a clear and hold on. Can they find themselves one for the road? Yes, indeed. They can. It does not stop until the final whistle blows. Godspeed take game number 1 by a score of 4-0.
Well, they say when you're on a road trip through a long journey, you have to pack some snacks, and that's one where you're saying, hey, I got to eat at the end. Let's do it. The MVP coming in here for Eco. Well deserved here as Godspeed. See the hat trick come out here in game number 1. Eco 3 goals to his name. Rigorous grabbing 1 more as Finzi showing off the defensive prowess.
I love seeing an ability to really show both sides of the ball there. You obviously find 4 goals off of just 7 shots, but you also had 7 shots towards your net, and you found saves for so many of them. I mean, be able to keep the clean sheet there, really showing a domination on both sides of the ball. And to start off series number 2, that's exactly what you want.
Well, this is where you're saying, guys, we were coming off the same way we did off the first series. And you always talk about the cooldown period. We always say game 1 is where you dip your toe into it. But it seems like Godspeed just dove headfirst into it. Exactly how we're looking for them to continue on. Keep this pace speed. Allow Kineko Soup to continue trying to match your aggression. But, I like the way Kineko Soup started off this game. It seemed that they were going to come out here and show a lot, but Godspeed just were able to quench them.
Oftentimes in a game number 1, we talk about that feeling out period, that first minute to minute and a half. Godspeed was able to weather the storm, and it felt like after that the adjustments had been made. Of course, a good series of Rocket League is very similar to a game of tug of war. It's about both sides making the adjustments. And now for Godspeed, that is 5 unanswered. It will be up to Kineko Soup to make some sort of adjustment, some sort of change, if they don't want game number 2 to get out of hand here quickly.
Well, tug of war, but the flag so far comfortably on our side of things. And, this is where for Kineko Soup, you're hoping to at least have that 0-0 a little longer. Last thing you wanted for yourself was to see a quick goal, but that's going to be able to tie things up. Kineko Soup coming out hot, says, here's a cup, here's a bowl, here's it all.
A nice pass across there. Meekin getting just enough. You thought maybe the fourth defender was going to be able to find the save. Not no way, not no how, not on that one. We're all tied up. Of course, with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left, it's almost like this game has just started all over again. We'll have to see who's going to be the one to take the control. It's still pressure inside of the blue half. Very almost reminiscent of game number 1, where there was a decent amount of time spent on the blue half to start the game. Eco will help assist this one up forward. It's a pass, it's a give, it's a go. It looks like poetry in motion. Godspeed find their second of game 2.
And the second one, and this is where if you're able to go goal for goal with the opposition, where you're saying, hey, you score, we're going to come right back in that same type of momentum. It just becomes an absolute dogfight. Kinnico Soup, this is where you're going to say, are you battle-tested? Are you ready to go the length of this series? Godspeed right now trying to say it's going to get a little longer. Beautiful save there at the goal line by McCann.
I was able to keep it down here for at least keeps it out of the goal for now. Quickly, Kinnico Soup looks to flip the pressure, but Finzi in the corner will be able to field it. Only problem, though, no gas in the tank, and Eco swinging a miss. Rigorous has to move this thing forward, finds enough of it. Eco will send it to the middle of the pitch, but it will be off onto a hood of a Kinnico Soup player as they try to quickly go on to the attack. It will be stopped right around the Godspeed to try and find a way to find a third as they've got the pressure. Kablamo, they take one out. Eco picks up the big pad, turns right around, and will look to carry it.
You know, I think the action got too much here for the stream here for ourselves. So, hey, we got to cut it out. We got to loosen things through, and in a way able to loosen up the defense. That's going to go in here for an equalizer.
2-2, as we are about halfway through game number 2. We had mentioned how we expected things to tighten up a little bit here heading into the second round. I was wondering when that indeed was going to come through. As far as for now, wonder for Godspeed, can you put yourself back in the driver's seat? The last thing you want is that momentum to start to build up, as Vinyl is now going to be able to take the lead before the midway point.
Well, you got to buckle up, and, you know, this is where we knew it was going to be a hard-fought match. Great job here for Kinnico Soup. They're doing this is one where you're seeing this offense start slowly becoming a lot more in themselves. They have a lot more life. Godspeed right now need to continue working off the kickoff. This is where they saw themselves an early goal early, but it's where they can't continue keeping Kinnico Soup in such a dominant position. Kinnico Soup right now doing a great job keeping themselves on the back heels.
Themselves in it for now. 2 minutes and 22 seconds left to play. You're down by 1. It's first time Godspeed have find themselves in a point where they are needing another response. They found one relatively quick earlier, but this time they've been behind for a little bit longer. It's been a possession, though, down here on the Kinnico Soup side that has shown a couple of chances towards the net. Eco is going to be able to pick the pocket. Can you find a second touch to move it towards the middle of the field? Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Now it's going to be Finzi retreating back with the rest of the squad. They have been able to reset their field and be able to refill up those tanks as they go back on the attack at the pass to Rigorous. I thought there's a chance to set up a good shot towards the middle. Finzi will be able to pick it up, though. One more chance to go towards the middle of the field. A nice pass there, but no one to bang it home.
And right now, Godspeed, they're doing a good job of boost starving them there at the corners. Haven't allowed too much here for Kinnico Soup. We'll see if that continues being the difference, as this one in front of the net has a chance. Eco saying this one is going to the back of the net. We're all knotted up again.
Well, you mentioned the boost, and well, on the replay there, I don't know how much y'all were able to look around. It was empty tanks for all 3 players from Kinnico Soup, which helped kind of add to the efficiency there for Godspeed on that last possession. Let's see if they have the ability to take the lead before entering into the final minute of play. Meekin on the opposite side, off of the post, will be the extra defender once more. That's going to be a floating shot here. Does require a touch from Rigorous that's able to be found. Still looking for a clear here is Godspeed.
And Rigorous did that with eventually no boost in his tank. Great job on the economy there and being able to really push it away. But final 60 seconds, are we going to see OT potentially, or will this one end in regulation? Would it be the first OT of the night? Fincy just trying to work on back to defense for Godspeed, trying to see themselves continue holding on firm. Quick pinch. Eco leaves that towards midfield. Not much to go here. Both these two teams fighting for an inch.
Small touch by Rigorous just puts it a little bit deeper inside the Kineko Soup territory, but it will be Meekin who sends it inside the blue half. It will be just for a moment. Neither team has truly been able to retain the possession. It's been a touch, maybe two, and then it's back the opposite way. Here's Meekin looking for the double touch. That one will be just a tad bit high, and going to be up to Godspeed to try and find the clear. Instead, it's right back onto a Kineko Soup player's half, and they're looking for one last attack here. Eco will find a clear, and these final 3 seconds do dwindle away. We are indeed off to overtime in game 2.
Well, we wanted dramatics, we wanted cinema, and we get an early one. And for Godspeed, I like the way this team were able to hold them away here towards the back end. But Kineko Soup, they're starting to really see the team play start coming together. They're making sure that everyone's getting involved. And for Godspeed, you got to find a way to start breaking that cohesion that they're building.
Find a way to break that for sure. Going up 2-0 here would be a great place to start. This next goal holds a lot of weight. Could very well put Kineko Soup right back into the thick of it. Send us off to the rubber match, or it could make sure that Godspeed is just one game away. And if you found a way to win that 50 and jump up to it, a wide open field on the other side. Instead, it's still pressure forward for Kineko Soup. It's an empty tank for Rigorous, but is able to at least find enough off of the backboard. It's over to Eco, and they have been able to relieve the pressure. One more pass. It's the pass to Fincy, who looks to bury the shot. It's left for Rigorous. Bang! And it will be Godspeed after a minute of play in overtime who takes game 2.
Well, these are the type of games you love to see a team win. They took them the long road, 57 seconds into OT. And Godspeed going to be notching that second win on for this series.
Gotta say, that is one that does hit the soul a little bit different if you're a Kineko Soup player or fan. You fought so hard to be able to take yourself off to overtime. You were so close to being able to send yourself into game number 3 all tied up, but instead, well, now you're going to have to look down the barrel of a reverse sweep. Otherwise, you are going to that 1-1 side of the bracket.
You never want to be in this position because now you basically have to play perfect for the rest of the series and more. And I feel for Kineko Soup, they've had good moments. We saw them. The biggest difficulty right now was just the lack of boost that they've had. Godspeed's done a great job of making sure that portion of the game is just nullified. You know, when you have crack players who have a lot of mechanics, if you have no boost, there's not much you can get going with.
Big thing, right? I mean, it's one thing to have the skills, but if you don't have the resources to make plays happen, unfortunately, you stay grounded, and that's not really a great place to be in Rocket League in the Big 2-6. So we do get ready for game number 3. And I think the important thing here for Godspeed, in a very similar fashion to like we talked about going into game number 3 of that first series, you just have to keep the pedal down. We saw them be able to make things close in game number 2. They're a team that looks like you give them an inch, they could very well take a mile. Or I guess maybe that's give them a meter, they take a kilometer. Anyways, you get what I'm trying to say, though. They are a team that if you give them just a little bit, they have no problem taking more. So you got to try and finish it here.
Well, game number 3, Godspeed trying to see themselves as the victors in this series and not trying to allow this series to go any longer as a demo opened things up. Beautiful pass. Mikon saw himself leading things off and does it once again.
Oh, that's a heck of a start here. 6 seconds was all it take. I mean, Finzy's just in a tough spot. You have to try and guess right and hope you make the right play on top of that and make it perfectly. And while you might have made the right first play, there was still a defender there who was able to follow things up. But you know what? There's a chance for Godspeed to find a quick response, and all of a sudden that quick goal doesn't matter. Eco is going to pay the price here, however. We'll have to wait for the respawn to get back off to the pitch. They will retreat back to the defensive side with Kineko Soup on the attack.
Well, how important are the kickoffs here today? And I think Kineko Soup's done a good job in that department of really showing off the aggression. For anyone who's been following the Jinsei sagas of all his 1v1s, that's how he's been winning them throughout kickoff. So I think for Kineko Soup, they want to be able to be the most consistent in that department. Seeing a 1-0 right now puts them in a good spot. But for Godspeed, they've been able to come back with quick goals right as they need it, as the defense almost gives up one there. Godspeed going to continue trying to fight through, but Kineko Soup says no.
I know it looked like they were going to get it there for a second. Maybe Eco can here. It's left off for Rigorous. And asking you shall receive. Godspeed. Find a way to tie it up.
And, you know, a little job here. Eco going up, being the first man, getting all the attention. Rigorous coming in just to put things behind the net, clean it up. But a new series upon us here. 4 minutes, all knotted in this game. Godspeed. Having some time to work on through, but looking to take this lead as quick as possible. Do not allow Kinnico Soup to stay in this one much longer. The more it stays 1-1, I feel the stronger Kinnico Soup's going to get.
Yeah, this is also one of those situations for Godspeed, knowing that after this series, you're off to the 2-0 side of the bracket. You would like even just a little bit of a breather, and well, look at that. 25 seconds after scoring goal number 1, they find goal number 2 is left off for Finzi, and in beautiful fashion sinks it home.
Godspeed. You know, they took some time, but right there, you're seeing what this offense has. Such quick burst of speed they have. In a blink of an eye, they'll be able to put a goal through. And that's the one thing that's been very impressive from this team, both taking it all himself. Kinnico Soup McCann has been special, and he knots it up.
Well, it gets past one, and for Finzi, has to pump the brakes and make a decision. And unfortunately, once you start to pump the brakes, you can't make a move after that. They just move the ball forward in front of them and sneak it on by, and that's goal number 4 of the game. It's 2s on either side. We're not even 2 minutes gone by. Here it will be enter into the Kinnico Soup side as Godspeed will look to try and relinquish this, or sorry, seize a little bit more control, but it looks like Kinnico Soup back onto the counter.
Yeah, back on the counter, Kinnico Soup. His team is showing a lot of resilience right now, and that's one thing that's been impressive. This team never says die. They continue fighting throughout the entirety of it, looking for that first win here. The last thing they want is see the brooms come out, but for Godspeed, all that matters is taking it 1 goal at a time. This is where these two teams can't worry about the time or the clock. It's saying, hey, we're playing for 1 goal right now. We'll continue seeing ourselves try to take it there. Just try to make this game a little easier on yourself.
Looking for a shot towards the net. It will be Eco who finds a save and looks to quickly flip it up to the other side of the field. Can he get to that second touch? No, instead it's Vinnel off of the back wall. Riggis is already up though, and hold on a second. We'll at least be able to meet with a little bit of additional resistance. Slows down the counterattack here from Kinnico Soup and actually makes things just that much more challenging for him. Rigorous up to Eco, looking to try and now go on to the attack, turn defense into offense. It's a flick over 1-0, and it's the crossbar that comes into play.
Yeah, almost with no cigar there. See if they can continue trying to smoke the fact of victory, but having to wait a bit longer. Eco just going to clear this one away. Quick change of possession. Fincy meets him at the top, but this is going to be Eco trying to see himself a full boost in a dream, but not much to get there.
100 seconds left here in game number 3. Godspeed would surely like to make this the ender of the series. Kinnico Soup has shown over the course of the last about 8 minutes of play that ain't gonna be easy. Well, look to try and go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, this is where I think Godspeed don't want it to be easy. They need to be tested because they know what potentially comes around them if they win this series, and that's a team who's also going to be 2-0.
Yeah, they got to try and make sure they can wrap things up here. This is a series that we had talked about earlier on that it feels like you're still favored in, and while maybe we were talking about potentially giving Kinnico Soup a game, maybe even a second, the fact that you've come out and taken the first 2 in the way that you have, even with 2 being close, now this is where you have to show yourself that you have the ability to close the door. Unfortunately, Kinnico Soup has been making it quite challenging, and Meekin starting to pull out that ruthless aggression. That's back-to-back demos. Now looking for a shot, which will be denied. Finzi has some open space the opposite way, looking to make something happen in the final 30 seconds.
We saw an OT already. I think for Kinnico Soup, they do not want to see overtime right now. They want to get it done in regulation. No need to keep yourself into this game any longer. But this might give them a chance. This is going to be a quick clear onto the Godspeed side. Needing to get there. Fincy will, but still need to clear this one away. All orange around it. Fincy, will he see it? No, he will not. That's going to go for a quick 10-second countdown. Still 2-2.
That's one you would certainly have loved to see cross the goal line, but the important thing is you've kept it away from your side. Wait a minute, on the road, Finzi was looking to maybe put it off the hood of Eco, who just couldn't get there in time. It's overtime here in game number 3. Meekin sends it towards the net, and oh my goodness, it does not take long for Kineko Soup to secure a game 4.
Well, great 50 here, and this is where the second man just coming in with cleanup duty, as that's going to go quick 2-1 series now. Kineko Soup keep themselves alive, but down, but not out. Godspeed still leading this series.
Godspeed does still have the ability to end this series in this game number 4, while not having the ability to lose this series in game number 4. So you do still have that comfort going into things, but it's about as much of a must win, it feels like, as it can be without it actually being a must win. I mean, Kineko Soup having the thoughts of redemption on their mind, then in turn would also have the momentum if they also win game number 4. So Godspeed has to lock in.
Yeah, lock in time. Game 5, I feel, always goes to the team who just came off of 2 wins. But it's so tough to be able to win 3 games in a row in the RLCS setting. Yeah. Kineko Soup trying to show that they can do it. But at the very least, I'm saying here for Godspeed is, hey, this goes again another game. That's less time you have to wait in the wing for your next one.
You know what? I like the copium. I'll ride that train with you here. More games, less waits. Not only that, we did say we thought Kineko Soup would at least take 1. I think earning that respect and showing why we gave them that heading into the series here. But this is the time for Godspeed to lock on in. And, well, I'd love to see them be able to build up some pressure here early on. Instead, it's been back and forth. Both teams have technically had a quick look inside the other team's half. Rigorous will be able to find their first save here in game 4.
Well, and I feel for Godspeed, you need to take this lead by the horns quickly. Go up 2-0 as fast as possible. I know it's easier said than done, but Kineko Soup, they just hung around the entirety of that last game for good measure. They played amazing, but for Godspeed, a couple opportunities that saw themselves go to the wayside, almost ended it before the end of regulation. So this team has what it takes. Just don't take it to OT. And now it's one in that department, and this one will see itself in the back of the net.
You knew this was trouble when you had 3 players commit to the first save, and what's even worse is while Eco finds the save, it's off of the back of Rigorous, or maybe it was the other way around. No, it was Eco off the back of Rigorous, and it just leaves the ball right in front of the net. That's a tough one to give away for goal number 1. The good news is there's still 4 minutes for you to play here in game number 4, but you got to lock in. That can only be the only mistake here.
Yeah, and I think for Kineko Soup, you're now back into a portion where you can breathe again. You have the lead, and now you're saying we can play our game. We can play our pace now. We don't have to play the pace to Godspeed, where Godspeed has been taking leads throughout the last couple of games, and they've been setting the tone. But Kineko Soup, they bowl themselves into a quick 0-2 lead here.
Their first multi-goal lead for Kineko Soup here, which means Godspeed, well, you make sure that they can turn things around quick, fast, and in a hurry before they start to get out of control. Rigorous will pop it up. Rigorous has a chance for an additional shot. It's off of the post. Oh, no. We saw Eco was coming in for a shot. Gets just knocked out of their, view. Otherwise, I feel like that was a goal.
Yeah, that had goal written all over it. Sadly, just unable to cash the check. But for Godspeed, they have opportunities, and that's what you're looking for. These are soon going to start falling through. You just need to continue trying to hammer that net here.
More shots, more goals. That's the hope, right? You shoot more, you make more eventually is the mind state that you're looking. Rigorous will be able to pick it on up. Looks for the flick. That will be just a tad bit high. Finzi for the double tap in the corner for the redirect. Not going to quite dial in that one, but we'll leave it back for Rigorous, who picks it up off of the respawn. It's going to be Finzi off of the backboard. Can you find the double touch? Yes, sirree. That's on your head, boy, as Godspeed take this lead and cut it in half.
I like to call that just being better there. And unfortunately for the defense, not enough boost to try to ward it away. But another clip, another shot here, but still down 1, close to halftime in game number 4. Rigorous going to have a chance. Quick 50 won't go their way. Fincy on his high horse, but Godspeed need to get back 2 in the air. Need to see themselves try to bunker down here on the defensive side.
Halfway through game number 4, and it's a 1-goal ball game. See just how quickly they can find that second goal. Eco almost makes the play. Rigorous off of the rebound. And we're tied up at 2 with 2:20 left to play.
And you're seeing Godspeed right now, the speed for themselves in the offensive. They're starting to find a lot more of these bumps. This defense from the back of line is starting to get withered away. Continue playing bully ball. Push them out. See yourselves really getting the aggression here. But all knotted up, we're back to level.
Now's where you got to be able to really take that pressure and shift it back into the laps of Kineko Soup. They've felt like they've had the control most of game number 4. But if you can put them behind in the waning minutes of play, all of a sudden they realize their chances of moving to the 2-0 side of the bracket have pretty well dwindled away.
You see how competitive it is here, especially right now. You up 2, usually that means that we're going to just take this one and continue on. But that one for Kineko Soup says, give us some time for continue to work after 2 unanswered by Godspeed. They see themselves take it 3-2 with 145.
Tough there once Finzi sees that second touch being made. Eco or Rigorous needs to be able to make an adjustment, but neither of them has the gas to be able to do so. And while it's not free, it's darn near it. And now Kineko Soup is going to be able to find a second. It's a 2-goal lead, and while manageable with 100 seconds left to play, Godspeed needs to lock it in.
We know how he got that bump there. That's just saying, hey, it's working right now. We got it dialed in. And Kineko Soup, they've been able to take an entire 180 here ever since those first 2 games. And, you know, they say you have to get slapped in the face to be able to wake up, but I think this team is wide awake now. They're here for the pressure. They're ready for it. It's up to Godspeed to make things going. Wow.
That's just filthy. Eco finds the pinch to pop it up and then somehow busts out the protractor to cut this thing across and find the angle. And all of a sudden, a 1-goal ball game with just under 90 seconds to play sounds doable.
Well, now you have yourselves a great kickoff to start things off. Are we going to see the second come in here? That will not be it. Godspeed almost being able to tie it off right off the kickoff, and they want quick work from things, as this one will be on the horns. I need to get there.
Stop it. That's filthy. Rigorous. Oh my goodness gracious. God. Put it on a highlight reel.
Yeah, that just took my breath away for a second, and I'm just saying, what a job here. This team for Godspeed, they are starting to work quick, almost off the kickoff, seeing themselves a goal. Kineko Soup trying to hold on through. Big bumps, big demos, but not enough to get that one for themselves. Rigorous still working, as it will be Kineko Soup putting it into their corner, but a lot of blue name tags right in front of them. That's not going to be able to go. 45 remaining.
Oh, they're doing a great job of starving him a boost. Rigorous leaves it in front of the net, and it's Finzi to punch it home across. 3 unanswered here for Godspeed to take the lead in the closing minute of play.
You know, the last 1v1 Cup in Apac, Rigorous saw himself winning the whole thing, and that one, a quick 1v2, finds his teammate to finish it away. He's been a difference maker.
Is that just in? That's just in! Bar down ski. Hey, I've seen enough. Let's go over to the 2-0 side of the bracket. My goodness.
This is where words cannot describe what Rigorous is doing right now. He has been the MVP of this game as of late, and he has shown why this team picked him up, has been a great addition to this squad. I want to say, this team's going the way Rigorous is going so far.
My goodness, it's just been leading the charge for this team. And talk about a comeback of comebacks here in game number 4. What was that? We said 100 seconds left to play, down by 2. And then they are up by 2 once everything is all said and, well, maybe we'll say it down by 1. That one, I don't want to say a cosmetic goal because 4 seconds left to play. There is still the possibility, but they've got to make sure they can lock it in off the kickoff.
I never say game's done. I saw that Worlds match where we saw Falcons come back. What was it? 3 goals in the last couple seconds. So anything's possible in a Rocket League. And a quick shot. Will it see it? Will it fall? Yes, it will. And Godspeed, see it through. Kinnickle Soup, a nail biter to the end, but a W going to the boys in blue.
I mean, they made it close. You got to give them credit for that. But hey, yeah, give a big shout out to the Godspeed boys, locking it in when mattering the most. And man, that comeback was something else. I'll tell you what, that was really, really fun to watch. And that has to have them feeling pretty darn good. That's like a heck of a way to win that last match before heading into what will surely be a tough matchup here in round number 3.
Yeah, round number 3 still to come. A lot of Rocket League here, Q. So, we're still waiting to see who's going to be on that portion of the bracket. Project De La Cruz, of course, won all 3 of their games, saw themselves go through. I know our prediction a little bit with potentially maybe Ground Zero is who we will see, who able to 3-0 Zen Esports, Overlook 3-0 Big Dogs. So, all the big dogs on this side of the group will be making it through to the 2-0 portion, but no, it's been an intense matchups.
Yeah, I think we were hoping maybe Ground Zero if Big Dogs had pulled off the upset there. Unfortunately, since not, you mentioned all 4 of the actual Big Dogs, the top 4 ranks all going through 2-0. There's a good chance we're going to see Project De La Cruz here on the other side of the break. We don't know for sure. We'll obviously know when we do come back from that. But hey, we are 2 series in, and that's 2 dubs. And the whole point of Swiss is winning 3 series before you lose 3 series. So we're off to a good start for now. No matter who the matchup is in the next round, I think the most important thing is, hey, we're 2/3 of the way there, and we'll be happy about that. But how about this? Since we are waiting to see what round number 3 looks like as far as matchups, how about we take ourselves a quick little break? Grab yourselves a drink, grab yourselves a quick little schnickety snack, and on the other side, we'll be back. The 2-0 side of the bracket.
Quick starts, but a game potentially to remember. Godspeed versus Overlook Entertainment here for our third series of the night. Q. We have seen some banger matchups in rounds 1 and 2, but now who makes it into next week perfect throughout the day?
Yeah, I'm not sure who that Bushholtz guy is, but shout out to their Swiss for giving us Overcooked here, I guess, with the way things worked out. I feel like the one team we figured we weren't going to be seeing in round number 3. But this is still two teams who have obviously gone 2-0 thus far through Swiss. So nothing comes for free. And, well, it's all about the course of the next 3 to 5 games. If I had to guess, this is probably going to be closer to the 5 than 3. But how you feeling about this one, Wolfie?
I'm feeling good. Big shout out to Ralph and everyone over there at Overlooked. It's such a great team. A great org. We've been going back and forth, especially in the DMs. And, this is one where I love the sportsmanship of what you bring in. And when you have two orgs going up against each other, now you're saying, hey, org buff is neutralized. Now, who's going to come in here and be able to get the job done? Last time Godspeed saw Overlooked in a Quals setting was 2 weeks ago, who they were able to beat 3-0. So, history is on our side, but I think the boys over there at Overlooked, same thing for Kinnico Soup. They want redemption. They want to be able to say, we knocked you down and had you play an extra game the same way you made us do. But for Godspeed, it's now or never.
Like you said, the past doesn't really matter. It's all about the present, all about who's going to be able to win today. It's at any given Sunday sort of feel, I do suppose. That's the beauty of Swiss. So let's go ahead and get down to it. We've got 3 players, it does look like, on either side. Well, okay, hold on. Maybe we might just need to hold on just a moment before we do jump into this lobby. But I'm excited. Yeah, I feel like game number 1 should give us a relatively good indicator, just merely because of that recent history. If we see the boys be able to come out and set the tone in a similar fashion the way they have in game number 1 of our last 2 series, I think we're well on our way.
Yeah, and I think for Godspeed, it's just kind of sticking to that narrative here is, hey, take it early on. Do not put yourself in a hole where now you're the ones trying to climb out of it. Make it to where Overlooked have to say, hey, we know what we need to get done. You can't overlooked. And but this is where you're saying we need to find a way to dominate. We can't let this team stay in here. There's a reason this team's 2-0. It's because they're good. But you have to find a way to make good teams sweat, make them uneasy. And the way you do that is score early, score quickly, and score ferociously.
It's one thing to be good. It's something else to be great. And what separates the good from the great is being able to step up in moments like this. For Godspeed, they do get to come in with the confidence of the prior series that these two teams have had. Prior series only matters when you look at the past. The present is what it's all about. It's a best of 5, and one of these two teams get to lock themselves in to week number 2 of Open 3.
Well, this is where it starts off. Fincy, first one with the chance. We'll have some big action on the side of Overlooked. This is where Godspeed early on. They've done a good job of keeping on the opposition half. We haven't seen them overcommit too much. We've seen the offense continue working through all three players. They have to make sure that teamwork makes the dream work here in this series more than anything. But for Godspeed, first goal, crossbar down. Eco misses, but he gives it for Rigorous.
Ooh, I was worried when we saw the first swing and the miss off of the rebound from Eco here, especially because that does put Rigorous in a very precarious situation, right? Do I dive and have to hit this, or do I stay back and play that third back? I love the decision there. You play aggressive, you play confident, and they walk away with the first goal as well.
This is where this first goal for Godspeed coming in quick. Quick 50 here. We'll just push it right back for a teammate. Lunatic trying to pop this one right up, but it will be just a quick little retaliation by both teams here at the midpoint. And this is where I think for Overlooked. They're trying to see themselves really get this first goal. We said it for everybody here tonight. Get your first goal, see what's working, and see yourself try to expand upon that. Godspeed's done a great job of making them wait for that ability to really see what is being able to go for their half. But for J-Box, I know he's going to be one person to look out for, especially Taha on the offensive end.
This goal was in favor of Godspeed, and it's felt like their offense was starting to build up more pressure, at least until this last possession here from Overlook. Taha will pop it up, but will get bumped. Rigorous following behind will keep the pressure forward here for Godspeed. Unfortunately, won't be able to keep the handle. It will eventually end up onto the hood of Taha. Back to Lunatic, who rises up to the sky and looks toward the net itself. J-Box and Taha fighting amongst one another to be able to get the possession. Actually gives Godspeed one look towards the net. Rigorous looks to make the play. One side of the field to the other, takes the big pad. Less resources here for Overlooked as they're looking for a pass, but nobody's home.
You saw Rigorous kind of just give up on that ball, may have just not liked what he saw in front of him and said, hey, I like the position of where we're at. Let's see our team try to hold this two together. Taha will just take this one. Won't be able to pinch off the ceiling here. We'll leave it for a Lunatic, but Godspeed still putting a lot of pressure, unable to get a bump there off the back line. We'll have two defenders in his face, and that's going to be able to ward things off, but Godspeed continue on with possession.
Rigorous picking it up, has space over Lunatic. There's no one there. If Rigorous can get another touchdown towards the net, just couldn't quite get it, but it will be now an opportunity the opposite way for a Lunatic. Oh, nice job by Finzi. Jump into the lane, moves it on up. Rigorous one touch, settles it down. Eco very carefully in the shadows, waits for the moment to pounce, able to pick up the pockets, and now it's going to be leaving it down on this side here for Godspeed. More pressure towards the net, but eventually the pressure's broken.
Well, and this is where you're saying it's a pressure cooker in here, and can you be able to handle it? 2 minutes remaining. Godspeed is looking for that second goal. But for Overlook, they've done a good job of mitigating a lot of the risk on the defensive side, have not allowed Godspeed to really have all the touches they've wanted. I still feel Godspeed had one that should have gone their way, but shoulda, coulda, woulda, and that doesn't pay the bills. Only what you can do in between the 5 minutes. Eco off the backboard will pinch this one off. Godspeed need to get the pressure off their half as Fincy will just clear it away.
J-Box will be able to send a shot up forward. It will be wide. J-Box is able to take Eco out, so it slows things up on the back line. Here for just a moment for Godspeed. 84 seconds left. Finzy's going to be able to find a save. Rigorous looking for the clear here. It's pinched towards J-Box, who sends it right back on the attack. It's a pass to Lunatic, whose shot will be wide. 70 seconds here left. Godspeed have been caught back in their back half for quite a bit here to end game number one. Can Overlook find a way to break the defense?
Well, you're seeing such good pressure right now for Overlook. You're almost saying how this defense being able to withhold, but Godspeed's done a great job. Fincy, you've seen him play that main defender role, has seen himself in that net being able to ward off some big shots. But for Overlook, they've been doing a great job of putting all this pressure. It feels like it's got to be able to hit something, but for Godspeed, need to get the extinguisher out, but not let these flames continue to mount.
30 seconds here left. Can you hold on to this one goal lead? I mean, yeah, you would like to add to your tally, but even getting the clean sheet and walking away with a 1-0 feels pretty darn good against this Overlooked squad. We had talked about how much of a tone you could set in game number one. A dub is a dub. You're 15 seconds away from being able to do just that. One more defensive stand should hold the line.
And unfortunately, you saw Rigorous. He was looking for that big boost, unable to get either there at mid or the corner. So he's going to be a bit low. We'll see if that works to anything, but this one has a chance, but no, it does not. That's going to be able to hit pay dirt. Fincy grabbed the MVP, the defensive mastermind throughout the entirety of this game. 2 saves to his name, 2 shots, but the man with 1 goal will call himself rigorous.
The defensive game there is it's 6 shots in total in a game of RLCS, 5 minutes. It's kind of crazy to think about, but hey, you know, I just mentioned earlier, a win's a win. Whether you win by 1, you win by 5, right? The series result is still the same. I think it's important to keep in mind, though, that on the opposite side of the pitch, it's about as good of a loss that you can take for Overlooked, right? It's a 1-goal loss. You look like you were building up pressure on their side there towards the end of the game. So it's important that you go into game number 2 and really make sure you're on top of your P's and Q's.
Yeah, and I think this is where you're saying, hey, we were right there. We were 1 demo away from potentially seeing that ball go behind the net. So for Overlooked, it's one where you're not trying to hit the reset button, but it's just one where you're saying, hey, continue attack. They're going to fall right now. We have to find a way to see if we can make Godspeed flinch. But for Godspeed, continue being battle-tested off the kickoff. Taha has a chance, but will not see it go. That could have been a great goal early here for Overlooked, with the defense once again holding firm.
Steady hand on the defensive side, waits for the decision to be made from the offensive player, and then just punishes it from there. However, Godspeed's still going to be looking for their first real offensive possession. Yeah, they just spent about 10 seconds down the blue side, but nothing was really towards the net itself, as it's been most of this first 30 seconds with them with their backs up against the wall. J-Box looking for a pass across. Lunatic will fire a shot where Finzy's right there for the save, but still struggling in the clear department. Finzy finds yet another save as the Godspeed defense looks phenomenal to start game 3.
And they're doing just enough. They're finding ways to at least get into the face of the opposition to make shots just a bit more tough, and they're relying on their teammates on the back line to really ward off that last shot. But for Taha, starting to get dangerous with the player who I mentioned earlier. Look for him to really set this thing going for the offensive side. But Eco, once again, doing his job. And I like how Godspeed, we saw them earlier with Rigorous and Eco kind of leading the charge on the offensive side, and Fincy kind of taking that side on the defensive. But this is where now everyone's getting involved all over the pitch. It's a 1-2-3 game as Rigorous full boost, trying to get it away, looking for a teammate. We'll just settle for a quick touch there. I thought that was going to be a 50, but shows it back on. Will it fall? The clip will have to wait.
Oh, would have been such a clip if that had been able to find the back of the net, but it has allowed for Godspeed to flip the pressure. Eco, it's a nice pass. Rigorous will eventually be able to strike gold, and Godspeed strike first in game number 3.
Colors for Godspeed here, and they're saying we're mining it tonight, 3:15, and what a chance. Going in, allowing yourself for the first man to really set things up, and Rigorous has done a heck of a job of being in the right place, right time throughout all 3 of his series tonight. Good heads-up play, the IQ here for both these 2 teams showing, as Godspeed right now trying to continue to work in the brains department.
Was looking for Rigorous on the pass there, but Rigorous had disappeared into a puff of smoke. Doesn't stop Finzy from being able to follow up with a shot of their own. 2 minutes gone by here in game number 2. While it is just the 1-goal lead, it is a lead nonetheless for Godspeed. And I think more important than that, their defense has already been able to prove through the test here early in game number 2. Eco looking to turn defense into offense to go coast to coast with it. Rigorous finds that second touch. Rigorous getting fancy with it in front of the net. Almost finds a way to dial it in. It's left off for Finzy, who's not going to find the second touch. It will actually end up onto the hood of Taha, who's going to go all the way from one side of the field to the other. And just like that, we're all tied up.
Yeah, that's a crazy play here from Taha, coming in, getting the bump with no boost off the back line. That's one where you love to be able to grab for your team, and it just shows how dangerous he can be with the ball on his car. Halftime, 1-1 game. This one all knotted up once again. Overlooked, in my opinion, in a must-win game here, make things a bit easier for themselves.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to go down 2-0 to this Godspeed squad, who already has the history of beating this team here recently. I mean, yeah, recency bias is one thing, but when you're able to duplicate that success here in back-to-back games to start off the series, well, then all of a sudden we're not just talking about recency. We just talk about that being the key. Well, for now, Eco will be able to keep the pressure down on the side with looking for a Rigorous, who will lose the 50 to box. Will be Finzi off the side, looking to put a shot towards the middle of the field. Taha's there, but Eco keeps the pressure alive for Godspeed as we're getting ready to enter into our final 100 seconds of play in game 2.
Yeah, I don't want to see overtime just yet. If anything, maybe in game number 3, but I'm looking for Godspeed to take this in regulation. Do not allow Overlook to feel that they can be on this pitch with you. It's been close games. They for sure are opponents where you have to respect them, but with respect, you can't just continue giving them too much space. Godspeed's done that so far, but they're looking for this goal and see what's going to be able to break the back line.
Well, Taha's going to be able to take down Rigorous, who was winning the foot race towards that ball. Finzi eventually sends it towards the midfield line. Eco picks it up from there. Eco, no gas in the tank. Won't have much to work with, trying to make a lot out of a little. It's a nice pass to Rigorous. Will he be able to at least keep it alive towards the corner? Oh, that's a dangerous touch towards the net. Not like this, Taha. It's a sniper of a shot. Started off of what was meant to be a clear. Eventually just ends up as a shot as no one's able to get back.
Yeah, just 2 defenders there for Godspeed in the same place there towards the right side of the booze. But that's where you're saying, hey, got to give each other a little space there. No one able to react to that one. 60 seconds remaining. Godspeed has done well off kickoffs to be able to find goals, but Lunatic putting it onto the orange half. Godspeed now not trying to lose this one here. Overtime right now is what they're looking for. I know we said we didn't want it, but now that's what we potentially are trying to see as this one for Overlook continue to put on some heavy pressure here.
With the possession, does lose it though, and all of a sudden it's Taha who's looking to go the other way. Taha owns both of the goals here in game number 2 here for Overlook. Maybe looking to try and find that hat trick to secure things away. We'll have to retreat back to D with Lunatic and company. Finzi looking to pick it up, loses the race towards the big pad here. It's towards Taha, and that spells bad news. That will be a clear here for Overlooked. That sends it down into the Godspeed half. It's 5 seconds left. One more look. Holy, there's a chance. Finzi, can you make the magic happen? That's a 0-second goal, and we're off to overtime.
Well, we wanted dramatics, we wanted cinema, and Finzi at the end has clutch in his jeans.
What's cooler than being cool? That man right there. We're off to overtime here in game number 2, and now it's off to see who's going to find the golden goal. Eco's going to be able to pop it up. Can you make a quick play here in overtime? It requires a save from J-Box, and it will be Rigorous off the sidewall. Has a little bit of gas to work with. That's pop tie in the sky. It's over Eco's head. Finzi, as the third back, has to play it safe. Hold on, there's an opportunity. As a pass, it goes errant. Eco keeps it alive just for a moment. It will be Finzi who finds it off of the backboard as Overlook goes on the attack.
You saw Rigorous just get a quick bump on him. That didn't allow him to get that boost that he needed. See if he can get a quick touch. Yes, he will. Drops in front of the Godspeed net. Will be Eco the one being able to ward it off. But Godspeed, the defense, trying to hold firm here in overtime. Quick reactions. Take off some very heavy potential attacks here for Overlooked. As J-Box looking for a teammate. Finds Lunatic. Will not see a goal. Taha, third man. But Eco's there to put it into his corner.
Defense has been tested here in overtime, but you can't spell Godspeed without 2 Ds, and their defense has been looking phenomenal. Here in the extra time of play for game 2, Finzi looks to send a shot towards the net. Taha's going to be able to find the save, and it's J-Box. First one up, met by Eco. 50 has been won. It's Lunatic who picks it up around the midfield line. We'll be able to send it to the sidewall. Finzi, last one to beat. Finzi finds just enough of it to keep it alive. Now it's to the other side of the field. J-Box trying to prevent the counterattack opportunity. Finzi high in the sky will be denied.
A quick demo here. You saw 2 members for Overlooked up, but that was enough to not allow that goal to see itself. But for Godspeed, it's starting to get late in here in overtime. 148 here. The quick 50 will go for Godspeed touch. J-Box holding on firm. Will be able to pass Rigorous. Lunatic looking for some bumps. Won't come up with one as Godspeed trying to go north to south here, but not much to look for.
2 minutes of overtime means that this is definitely the pivot point here in this series. If Overlooked are able to come back on this one, they've got fight left to turn this series around. But if Godspeed can put the pedal down and pull things off after the comeback here late in game number 2, that could very mean that Overlooked becomes overcooked as far as the mental, as if they're looking to try and find a way to break the pressure that this Overlooked offense has built up. That's past Lunatic. Taha there drops it off for Finzi. Finzi's going to be able to move this ball forward. It's just enough for J-Box to be able to find the save. Pressure for Godspeed forward. It will be J-Box who's eventually able to find a little bit of a relief valve.
You know, that demo on Eco was actually not the worst thing that happened. Just put him back into position on the defensive side to go for that save here. So, you know, for Godspeed, able to take it away. Quick shot, won't go.
Pressure forward, though. Lunatic will look for the clear. Rigorous already up in the sky. Hold on, can you find the second touch? It's a pass across. Taha, though, reads it just like a book, and all of a sudden it's poetry in motion. Going the other way. Who's going to step up on the defensive side? It's Finzi who meets with the first little bit of resistance. Rico, oh, if you find that 50, that's an open net. However, it's still pressure that has been relieved. You found the reset. We'll be back into your half, even if it is just for a moment. Finzi sends it forward. J-Box right there to field it. Gets it knocked away, however. Hold on, Rigorous. 1v2. Can you make the play? It's high in the sky. Lunatic will at least be able to settle it for now.
And we're getting closer here to a full regulation match here in overtime in terms of a full 5 minutes. 3:43 currently on the board. Finzi needs to move it away from this front of the net. J-Box unable to hit there. One of the best chances he's had here so far is Rigorous. Taking it himself, has a pop, but won't see it go through. Overlooked, able to come away with it.
Hold on, chance. Finzi's shot fired. Taha's going to find the save. Rigorous, can you find the touch? Second, yes, indeed. That's on your head, boy. A dunk from the heavens as Godspeed secure game 2.
And you talk about heart attacks. That one had the heart beating for sure. Godspeed come away with it. But what a chance. Overlooked. They look dangerous there. Godspeed just able to come out of there as the victor.
All right. Quick breath as game 2 does come to a close, and woo, did the boys have to earn that one, but they did indeed earn that one, and now have 3 cracks at series point. Not just the 3 cracks at series point, but you win 1 more game in the next 3, you've already advanced to week number 2 for our final open of our Boston run here.
Yeah, and Godspeed right now, what a match that really tests you there. And you know, I feel Overlooked had so many opportunities. Godspeed just able to hold firm. It really could have gone either way. One bump, one demo, one crossbar touch that could have gone for Overlooked, could have ended this game. But wow, to be able to play that long, it shows you how well this team has been conditioned themselves. To play at this level of Rocket League for an extra 5 minutes in overtime to try to not allow a goal. The defense for Godspeed holding firm. But you know, what was to you the difference maker in that game?
It just felt like, to me, they just were able to kind of show their resiliency. It just felt like they were able to clean up. We saw early on there were a couple of double commits that just felt like were something we didn't see often from the squad. And I'm not sure if it was just seeing the speed of the game pick up a little bit more in this series compared to the last 2, but it felt like the comms got clear and the spacing was back out on the field, and from there they were able to cruise.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, cruise control not activated, all blinders on as Overlooked needing to take this game to continue on their series lives here in the upper portion of the Swiss stage. Godspeed trying to see their day end with the win here, but 5 minutes will tell us the results of it. Finzi gonna have a chance for a touch, will work his way to the other side. Quick pinch, the demo not enough, as that's gonna go for Taha for a quick save.
But you're able to get the demo, you're able to get the boost, you're able to keep this Overlooked squad pinned back, less resources for them even once they do move into the orange half, and able to do everything right on that first attempt back into the blue side. Yeah, eventually they get themselves a look and kind of do the same to you, but for Godspeed, since you do have the 2-game lead, you're the team who gets to be comfortable in the tie ball game like we do see ourselves now, right? Even if this tie ball game ends up going later, Godspeed has the comfortability of, hey, even if you drop the game, you've got a couple more in reserve. Overlooked doesn't have that same comfortability. They need to find themselves a lead sooner than later.
That's why I feel it's uber important for Godspeed to score first here. It's one to be down in series 0-0. Once you're down in series 1-0, down 2 games, now it's a ticking time bomb. Now it becomes where do we get desperate? Do we have to put ourselves in positions we normally wouldn't just to be able to say we can continue fighting in this one? So for Godspeed, we'll see how they try to attack this one, but I know for Overlooked, it's pedal to the metal. No looking back for them, just forward.
All gas, no brakes. First 100 seconds just about gone by here in game number 3. Still 2/3 of this game left to be played, and we are knotted up at 0. Taha looks for the shot. Finzi will be able to find the save as Lunatic picks it back up, looking to be able to find the double tap on the redirect off of the corner, but to no avail. Finzi will send one towards the net on the opposite side. That will require a save from Taha. Second effort from Taha as well, as they're looking to try and find a way out of their defensive half. It's Rigorous, look at the pass to the middle, but nobody's there.
Yeah, Rigorous just had no boost there. Unfortunately, could not find a teammate. Looked like it could have been a good little challenge there for themselves, as Eco will be able to pick up boost. Demo's coming in there for Rigorous as he does get taken off the pitch, as Fincy with a quick pinch for Eco. Will they see it? Back to Fincy, needing the touch, but won't be able to get there in time. Or will this one?
It's what you're hoping for. You're able to drill one home. It might have not been a minute, might not even have been 2, but as the first half comes to a close in game number 3, it's Godspeed once more who is able to give themselves a lead. They're in the driver's seat. Now you've just got to hold on.
Well, that's one we were really looking for. What a job for Fincy to be able to use that Rocket League IQ. Decided to go out, did not want to go and challenge early, and because of that, gave him a beautiful chance for a shot on net. Now past halftime, Overlooked looking for one here to continue this game, or at least give himself some breathing room. Godspeed with the second goal. Potentially could be wraps. Little bumps there. Won't be enough. Lunatic will be able to steal the corner boost for 100 for himself. Rigorous just getting taken right off the ball, but Godspeed still working on the offensive.
2 minutes left. You just got to be able to keep the pressure. Remember, every possession down here on the blue half takes time away from Overlooked, who's trying to be able to surmount the comeback, but it does not take them long. Talk about a quick transitional play. Everyone getting involved. That's one that certainly they'll watch back here at the end of the day.
Man, great clip for themselves over there for Overlooked. A pre-jump there, saw the teammate play the entire way. That's exactly what you're looking for in a game like this. You can't do it yourself. You need all three, and that one being able to use the teammates. But 135, Godspeed trying to take the lead right back. Overlooked with some confidence for themselves. But this is going to go for a quick touch. Eco need to get up and over. Will not see too much, but will Rigorous see it bottom right? No, not.
What a perfect spot for that shot, putting it far corner. And Taha, got to give him credit where credit is due. One heck of a save. Eco, almost drills that one, and J-Box locks in a save. The Overlooked defense is being tested, and the Overlooked defense is doing a phenomenal job here in Game 3.
One thing I like about Godspeed here is when the going gets tough, they get going. And we saw that early on in the series. When they were down 2, they were able to flip things back to go up 2. But this is now, we're Overlooked. 45 seconds. Are they going to start throwing the kitchen sink? Godspeed can still play a bit conservative here. We'll see if they elect to do that, as J-Box trying to take it end-to-end. Eco will be able to take it right away from him, but you're seeing the quick change of possession right now. No one having too much time with it. It's going to be, can Godspeed find that extra pass to be able to break through this back line of Overlooked?
20 seconds left as they've got the possession here down in the blue half. Finzi looking to fire a shot. J-Box will be able to deny as soon as it comes up off of the hood. Rigorous already has Lunatic up in the sky with a crazy pre-jump with the read. Eco moving towards the net. Lunatic towards the sidewall. Final 4 seconds. That's going to be a pass that comes across. It's the center. Rigorous! Just like that. A last-second goal to be able to lock it in Game 3.
This is what you've been looking for, and Rigorous has been a man amongst boys here throughout the day has been that player Godspeed has been able to rely on. This one just need to hit the ground. Rigorous, the one to try to do it. Yes, it can. And Godspeed able to get it. 3-0. Grab the sweep to make main event here.
Not too bad for starting the day off saying we are on the tough side of the bracket there, if I could say so myself. Game, set, match. That's 3 sets done and dusted, and Swiss is now done. Can't ask for much more.
You can, all you can ask for more Rocket League, but unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait till next week for main event, where the team streams will still be here on this channel for the Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, we're gonna send it off to the main channel there for Gex and the boys. But big shout out to the boys over there at Overlook. They played a hard fought match, and the great casters over there, Sarpingas and Rhino. Right now, I'm looking for a lot from that team in Overlooked. I think this team is going to potentially really make it into next week, but all you can say is Godspeed.
Godspeed. It was a heck of a matchup, and we were able to come in and hit. I mean, hey, give them credit. They definitely made us earn it there in those last couple of games. I mean, really all 3 games were pretty darn close, but I think this is a big builder as far as of a Swiss day going into open number 3's group stages. Because while, yeah, you could look at the rankings, and while Boston may be off the table, the end goal is still not only land number 2, but also that Worlds run as well. So if you can have a big turnout here to end, split number 1, not only are you moving yourselves up the leaderboards as far as the rankings within the region, you're building on that momentum to have yourself ready for split number 2 as well.
Yeah, and I think for Godspeed, like we mentioned earlier, a team who just saw themselves coming together during open number 2, still a lot for this team to get going. When you look at the top teams like Project De La Cruz, they have players that play with each other for such a long time. You need to be able to have that cohesion, be able to see yourself, know where your teammates are without even having to worry about it. And I think they're starting to get to that point. But what a day for themselves, able to go through 3-0. Can't be much happier than that.
Cannot be much happier than that. You mentioned next week we've got team streams that are going to be right back on over here. So if it's your first time through and you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that follow button down below. Turn those notifications on. That way we can catch you back next week for those group stages. Wolfie, it's always an absolute blast to be able to jump up on the mic with you, my friend. Hopefully we get to run it back again here next week, and hopefully for plenty more action in Split 2 as well. But of course, you and I, we do have the easy job. We show up, we get excited about pixels. I do want to make sure we're giving a big shout out to the man behind the screens, Rowan of Gondor, who gives us the views and the vibes, the eyes and the skies, without which really it's just us here, 2 talking heads, which really isn't nearly as fun. So it takes a whole team to put a project together like this. So big shout out to everyone all the way around, and big shout out to you for coming out and supporting this group, or the squad here today through Swiss. We hope to catch y'all back for groups, and until we catch y'all back for the next one, man. Don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love harder. All right, y'all, that's Wolfie. I'm Q. For the rest of the crew here from the front to the back, y'all have a great rest of your week. Peace. We're out of here.